What is up, guys? Welcome to another Is It Worth the Grind video, and today we're looking at the Progetto 65, the tier 10 Italian medium tank. And as always, to answer the question, is it worth the grind? Let's look at the grind. Alright, let's start with tier 6. We got the P43 BIS, a really shitty platform with a big gun with a shit stats. So, pretty frustrating tank to play. I didn't mind it that much. It's definitely not the worst tier 6 medium, but it can be very frustrating. And it does get a big gun for a tier 6. 240 alpha, I believe, is the highest damage you do at tier 6 unless you put a derp gun on any of the mediums. The Germans do 220, so do the Czechs. So I believe this is the biggest gun. It aims forever and it's inaccurate as shit, and the pen is not too great. But you can just make it work because of alpha. Like I said though, the platform is shit. It's really slow. It turns like a boat, and the armor obviously isn't too great. At tier 7, we get the P43 Tur. Not really much of an upgrade when it comes to the platform or the gun, really. All you get is 25 more pen. Same garbage stats, but the good thing about this is obviously you don't get fucked by the soft stats as much, and it can mount a vert stab, and that is a massive difference, which makes this gun way more wieldy and definitely an equipment piece you should run on this vehicle. Overall though, pretty decent medium tank. Kind of similar to the T20, but it doesn't really have anything over the T20, so kind of just the worst T20. But then again, the T20 is, if not the best, then definitely among the best. And this also quotes on the higher end of tier 7 mediums, at least in my opinion, as I do prefer my mediums with higher alpha, which is what this tank gets. Anyways, at tier 8, we finally get introduced to the auto reloader with the P44 Panthera. And what this tank is basically a shittier Progetto, whatever the fuck the premium was called. Again, 3-shot autoloader with decent pen. The DPM on the tier 8 is not as low as it is on the higher tiers, so it is not as punishing as the higher tier autoloaders, and you know, it's not too hard to make this work. You do have to have some patience, and you can't really keep the last shot only and hope to do well. You need to wait for the autoloader to reload all of the shots, but yeah, managing this is not too hard. It's not the biggest autoloader out there, so pretty decent tank though. From non-premium mediums at tier 8, this is probably my top one, because let's be honest, there isn't really any tier 8 mediums at tier 8 that aren't premiums that don't suck, because you didn't pay real money for it. So this is not bad. This is not bad. Again, worse than the Progetto, whatever the fuck the premium was called. And in my opinion, it should have been switched around. The Panthera really doesn't fit in the line. It doesn't look like any of the other tanks. It doesn't fit at all. I don't know why Wargaming decided to do it this way, but they did. It's still a fine tank, so not really much more to say about this one. So let's move on to Standard B. So finally you get the big boy gun at tier 9. 360 alpha, 3-shot autoloader when you get the top turret. This gun is kind of weird. I mean, the platform finally is good. It's fast, good gun depression. It's a good wieldy platform, but the thing is, this 0.35 accuracy has fucked me so many times. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what it is, but this gun just misses so much more than any other gun. Maybe tinfoil hat, I'm going insane, but it's really, really noticeable and really fucking annoying, because this is one of the tanks where you do have to have the patience. It is a really bad DPM tank if you don't keep it filled up, and the burst potential is there. You get 3 shots with 360. That's not bad burst, but if you miss one of those shots, you're gonna be really, really salty about your life. So while this tank is really good, and statistically I perform really well in it compared to a lot of other things, including the Skoda T50, it can be a really frustrating tank to play at the same time. So while I do think it's really good, again, not the most enjoyable tank I've ever played. And then, of course, we get the tier 10. Alright, the armor. It has an upper plate of 50 millimeters, lower plate of 60 millimeters. Upper plate, though, is sloped at 65 degrees, which makes this an auto bounce for pretty much all the AP and APCR. but obviously not heat because you pay more money for it, so you deserve to pen no matter where you aim because you paid money for it. The lower plate, obviously absolute trash, so is the turret, and the side also has that steep angle for AP and APCR. Against heat, again, not so effective, but even against heat, the side is a bit more effective. The lower side, though, also pretty well angled. You have to hit it well. So this is not actually the easiest tank to pen if you shoot it in the hull, but the turret is all shit, so just don't shoot it in the hull. And if you hit the hull while fully aim with the turret, fuck you, learn to play. Alright, so here's the Progetto in action playing on Glacier. Before we get into anything though, I am hacking. I have completely betrayed all your trust and my integrity by running Bond's equipment on this tank. So shoot me, kill me. I am running a Bond rammer and Bond vents, I believe. It still doesn't make as much as the difference, not even nearly as just paying 20k credits per game for the consumable. But yeah, I just need to get that out there because otherwise everybody's gonna comment on it. But anyways, because of the amazing map designers that made this map, we get to shoot these poor heavies trying to go to their flank for free without them really being able to do anything about it. So hats off to Glacier, the developers or designers. Well done, fucking amazing map. Good job. Anyways, let's talk about the stats now. So we're comparing this to the TVP, the tier 10 Czech medium, as it is the tank most people want to compare the Progetto with. So we start off with 1900 hit points, 400 meter view range, top speed forward 65, backwards 20, power to weight of 18.75, tank traverse 56.31, effective traverse you can see. Terrain resistance is the same as on the TVP, so it is definitely slower than the TVP. Gun elevation 20, gun depression 9. And when it comes to the gun, obviously your DPM is pretty shitty. I don't even know which they are calculating. Probably calculating the last shot DPM. So if you keep your magazine filled up, this is gonna be your DPM, and if you don't, it's gonna be significantly worse. Damage per shot 360, penetration 268. Still that sweet high pen. Reload times, you can see these are obviously without the rammers and all that shit. Clip size is 4. Damage potential 1440. And inter-clip reload is 2.5 seconds. Aiming time of 2.01, accuracy 0.32. Soft stats on the gun are not too bad, but again, I have the same problem to a lesser extent that with the tier 9. The accuracy just doesn't seem to work very often with fully aimed shots. Shell velocity pretty solid as well, and shell cost is actually pretty damn low. Meanwhile, if you're wondering how to ace tier 10 medium tanks, well, it's very simple. You just two-shot an E5 and then just farm some more dummies on Glacier and you got your ace tanker. So that's exactly what we're doing. Kind of trying to refill my mag, but we get these opportunity shots, and the rule of thumb in this tank is unless you're under pressure and you really need to kill whoever is pressuring you, you unload your mag and then go for, well, you go for free shots whenever you can if you're loaded. You try to reload in cover if you can, but if you have free damage, you always take it. There's no real reason not to, unless you're under pressure and you need to kill the guy who's pressuring you, and then you have to start doing maths, which is obviously very difficult. Now, not only we farmed that E5 in 2 shots, we also farmed shitload of damage on that dummy Jagdpanzer who really wanted to shoot whoever we wanted to shoot at. And again, free damage, free kill, we have to take it. Got pretty lucky, but then again, that high pen on this gun definitely helped us out on that shot. I know a lot of other tier 10 mediums, especially the TVP, would have whiffed that shot really, really hard. Also, you could notice some of those fully aimed shots going fuck all. Nowhere, like the first shot on the Gorilla and the fully aimed shot on the Jagdpanzer lower plate. While there weren't very important shots because I wasn't being pressured at the time, those can really get very annoying if you actually are under pressure and you need to make those shots count. So now we're looking for opportunities to do damage, hoping that this Jagdpanzer is going to be a dumbass as well, but he decides to not be a dumbass, so the enemy team is kind of done by the looks of it. I mean, they still have a pretty solid presence, and the score is only 7-5, but it seems like our team is handling this reasonably well, mostly because their campers aren't camping, and that's the beauty about Glacier. The team that camps more wins more, and their team is not camping in the positions that they should be. And here is what I'm talking about with these guns. I mean, the second shot was pretty spot on, but that first shot, like, what even was that? And that happens way more than I would like, and also this is absolutely calculated Unicum play. I play this game for a living for almost probably close to 5 years now. This was calculated play just to confuse the enemy artillery and make him miss or not even shoot at me. Now there's a Jagdpanzer in the open, and we're definitely going to go for this gentleman. Waiting for the reload here is a smart thing, just because, you know, I only need to wait 3 seconds. It's not like this guy can actually run away in that time, so we go for him, but then we realize we have a new friend here in his Super Conqueror, and now we have to start doing maths. Luckily, he bounces the first one. Obviously, we go for the last shot in the clip. I need him to be around 1450 hit points to actually unload, and he is now way below that, so we can start shooting him. And look at those beautiful rolls. 313, 326, 293, and we end up having to spend the entire mag, which is absolutely hilarious. And now, at this point, we're just putting shots in the second we reloaded, because it will not really build up enough to make a difference, because obviously you have the inter-clip reload of 2.5 seconds, so might as well unload. The DPM won't change much, and also hoping that he would live long enough for me to load 3 is pretty silly. The second one I might still get, and that was dodgy as shit, but we got it. So we also got the tracking. So yeah, that wasn't too bad in the end. The Gorilla picks up our 277. Probably won't get to shoot the RD because, you know, RT. And he completely misses me for almost 400 damage. So all is fair and balanced on in World of Tanks, and this map is absolutely abysmally terrible. But other than that, I mean, I had a pretty good game on the back of, obviously, ammo racking that E5 and the dummy Jagdpanzer. Those two guys fed me close to 4k damage in total, so that was very nice of them. And yeah, that is kind of how you ace tier 10 mediums. Alright, so here's the end plate. We get an ace tanker, 6,216 experience with the triple, 27 bones, tank sniper, high caliber, and Confederate. Ended up doing 7,923 damage, a 2,147 assisted, picked up 3 kills, and a base experience of 1,381. Alright, so now the main question, is this thing worth the grind? Well, it actually might be. It's not a bad tank, and it's not a bad line. Statistically, actually, I feel for good players, this is going to be a rewarding line that has some frustrating elements to it. The lower tier guns are all shit. The Panthera is kind of the sweet spot where the gun acts nice, but it's not really that high potential. But it's definitely very versatile tank. And the higher tiers are more support vehicles, and they don't do very well under high pressure. And they do require their team to kind of be there to be able to dish out that damage. You need to be able to fall back because of the DPM and the longer reloads. But at the same time, if you do know your positioning well, if you play the tank accordingly to what you should be doing, and you don't do too much stupid shit, it is pretty damn good, and statistically it is definitely one of my better tier 10s at this point in time. Then again, like I said, I am using the cheater equipment, the premium equipment, the bond equipment, whatever you want to call it. But overall, I think that this line is pretty good. I think the tier 10 is pretty good. I think the tier 9 is pretty good, and the tier 8 as well. Lower tiers, not so much, but they're not too bad. So definitely a line worth considering if you consider yourself a decent player at least. I would not recommend this to new players, as it is kind of weird mechanic and it might get confusing and might just not be your thing. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you on the next one.